It's the 21st of July 2025 and today sees the launch of a new range of Swiss Army knives from Victorinox, and this has been a long time coming. Now, regular viewers will know I visited Victorinox in Switzerland about a year ago following an invitation from the CEO, Karl Elsner IV, after I put out a video in which I was critical of the lack of new product innovation at Victorinox. And that visit, which was documented in a follow-up video, clearly showed that the wheels of new product development had started to turn, albeit quite slowly, as over a year has now passed since new models were first hinted at. Victorinox, it has to be said, operate very much at their own pace, never rushed it seems, and always spending the time needed to ensure that everything is exactly right before a product launch, which is what we have today. And what I have to show you here is a new range called the Companion collection, which features 3 new Alox models. They're the ones with the textured aluminium scales, which are available in 3 different colours, and these are joined by one not quite so new traditional red Swiss Army knife. Let's start with the Alox models. There is one new 58mm model and 2 new 93mm models, and you can see the 3 colours on show here: the traditional silver, a new gold colour and a darker red colour, which I particularly like, and all 3 models are available in all 3 colours. Now, the first thing I should say here is that all 3 of these models are bladeless. Not too surprising, as it has been widely leaked that Victorinox were planning to introduce some bladeless tools. And while some in the media have hinted that this is surrendering to political correctness or some form of virtue signalling, it is in my mind a strong positive in 3 specific use cases. Firstly, for those who already carry a quality knife but still want the benefit of carrying other Victorinox tools. And then secondly, for those who work at or are visiting a location where carrying a knife is prohibited, like a school or a courthouse or certain public events in the UK at least. And thirdly, when it might allow the tool to be carried on a flight for those who are flying with hand luggage only. Okay, first up, the 58mm option. This is called the Companion S Alox, and this is 1 layer thick and keyring or small kit friendly, and is super light at just 17 grams. Now, the tools consist of Victorinox's small but very effective scissors for their size at least, and a familiar combination tool consisting of a small Phillips screwdriver with bottle opener and wire stripper. And if you think this looks familiar, then you might have spotted that this is actually a jet setter in Alox clothing, which begs the question why it wasn't called the Jet Setter Alox. Now, being Alox, it's thinner and it's 5 grams lighter than the original Jet Setter, which I have here, and arguably it looks nicer too, but you do miss out on the tweezers and the toothpick. It's not groundbreaking by any means, but if you're looking for the smallest and lightest keyring tool with genuine practicality, you could do a lot worse than this. Next, we have a single layer 93mm Alox, which is called the Companion X Alox, and this has just one tool, and that is the very desirable larger scissors which we see on the medium-sized Victorinoxes. Now, this doesn't perhaps sound very exciting, but if you could pick just one tool besides a knife, this would be it. In short, you get a lot of capability with these scissors for what is a very slim and lightweight package. The weight, incidentally, being 44 grams. And with just one tool, there's no hunting about to get it open, and it feels really nice and secure in the hand in use. Notice though, there is no keyring loop on this model. Some Aloxes, it seems, have the loop and some don't. And then we have this one, another 93mm model, this time with 2 layers, and this one's called the Companion Slim Alox. And again, I find myself questioning the naming convention here, as this one is the least slim of all the new Companion Alox models. When it comes to tools, first we have those great scissors, which is really good to see. And then we have 2 more tools. We have the large flathead screwdriver and pry bar with bottle opener and wire stripper. and this is a useful and practical tool and definitely worth having. The second is a tool that was introduced for the first time in 2023, and we've seen it on just one model before, namely the Companion. Note the name, which is a female focused Swiss Army knife coming in a choice of 3 fashion focused scale designs, of which I have one here, and this one is called the New York style. The tool is a box opener and screwdriver. It has a very short but sharp rounded blade edge and a sharp serrated edge, which is ideal for things like cardboard cutting or pulling through packaging. And this should get you into most packaging with a reduced risk of damaging the contents when compared with a knife blade. There's a 3mm screwdriver here, and that doubles up as a 2-dimensional Phillips as well, so a pretty useful tool overall. The tool is positioned where the can opener would normally find itself, and I think it will be well received, particularly in an urban setting, and is a useful tool addition. And if you don't want to, or don't need to, or are not allowed to carry a knife, the Companion not so slim Alox provides a decent level of utility for what is a compact tool. Although again, no keyring loop here, which I think will be missed in this case as the weight is a more noticeable 66 grams. So those are the new Alox additions, and I did mention one other not quite so new addition to the traditional red Swiss Army knife lineup, and it is this one here, and this one is called the Companion. Yes, the same knife with the same name as the one we've just seen, which was launched in 2023, which until now was only available in a box set to include a lanyard complete with mini carabiner and jangly logo, with a choice of those 3 feminine focus scale options, and carrying a premium price tag of £75, euros or dollars. Now, I've commented before that the tool set here is a desirable one, and therefore a missed opportunity not to include this as part of the general Swiss Army knife range, appealing to all genders and without the lanyard frills to make it more affordable. And that's exactly what we have here with this. Not a new knife as such, but a new colour, traditional Swiss Army knife red. Let's quickly remind ourselves of the tools on offer here with the Companion. The main blade is back, and while we would usually see a secondary small blade, we now have an effective nail file and nail cleaner. And then we have the very welcome scissors, as well as the screwdriver, pry bar with bottle opener and wire stripper. And it's worth noting that this is not quite as substantial as the one found on the Alox. And opposite that we have the new box opener and screwdriver tool. On the back we have the corkscrew, utility hook and the awl, and on here we have the plus scales, and that means you get a useful pen as well as the usual toothpick and tweezers, and you do get a keyring loop as you would expect with this style of knife. As for the weight, this one comes in at 85 grams. Victorinox with this range referred to a shift in consumer habits and finding safe and practical solutions for everyday tasks, with an emphasis with this range on opening and unpacking sealed deliveries and sealed containers. There are, though, I think, going to be some mixed views here though with these new additions, considering the time we've been waiting for something new from Victorinox, and I'm sure some are going to feel a bit underwhelmed as we are missing real innovation here. But I do have it on good authority that this is just the beginning, and we can expect more new releases before the end of this year, paving the way for true market innovation in 2026 and beyond. To me, these new models speak more about practical evolution rather than new and exciting innovation. The small Alox here is a no-brainer on a keyring if you're looking for something super small and genuinely useful. And the Alox scissors, I would say, are the best hope of being able to carry a practical tool in hand luggage on a plane, which I will clarify in a moment. And the not so slim Alox is a great tool to have with you in those places where knives are generally prohibited, or where you want to add capability alongside an existing dedicated knife. And as for the more traditional Companion Swiss Army knife, this has a good urban focused tool set that will appeal to those who favour a nail file over a second knife and a box opener and screwdriver over a can opener. At the time of filming, which is pre-launch, I only have UK pricing confirmed, and the Companion S Alox is £33, which is on par with similar sized Aloxes in the range. The Companion X Alox here is £29, which seems really good value when compared. Yes, it has one less tool, but it is much bigger and it's also cheaper. And the Companion Slim Alox comes in at £39, which seems about right. And Victorinox always base their prices on their production costs, and I'm told the small Aloxes are tricky to make, which would explain the perceived value question mark of the 58mm compared to the larger Aloxes here. As for the Companion, now available with the red Solidor scales, this comes in at £45, which again looks about right when compared to other 3-layer knives in the Victorinox range. And if I was to guess at US and EU pricing, it would look something like this. The EU is generally £1 to £1 for euro, so that's pretty straightforward, but the dollar pricing is somewhat harder to predict, so treat these more as ballpark. On the question of whether any of these bladeless models can be carried in hand luggage on a flight, then a quick look at the rules should help, but actually it really doesn't. If I just focus on the US, UK and EU, scissors are allowed in hand luggage as long as the length doesn't exceed 6 centimetres from the pivot point in the UK and EU and 4 inches in the US. And small tools should be allowed if the tool is under 6 centimetres in the UK and EU or has a total max length of no more than 7 inches in the US. But the inclusion of words like may be allowed and some conflicting references in the UK and EU to screwdrivers being prohibited, and the fact that airport staff can simply overrule the rules anyway, means we have a frustrating lack of clarity, along with accusations of magpie mentality when it comes to confiscations. In fact, the only certainty right now is there is no certainty. But I would personally risk taking the small S Alox through security, and I've carried the Jet Setter on numerous flights before without a problem, although I'm sure experiences of others may well vary. And I would also risk the scissor-based X Alox tool, as well as the rules are clear when it comes to scissors, even though airport staff can choose to ignore them. As for the not so slim Alox, the box cutter here could derail your intentions at airport security, as it does have a sharp exposed edge even though it is small, so I would probably leave this one at home. And interestingly, that makes the scissor-based Companion X Alox, in my view at least, the single most practical Victorinox you can supposedly carry in hand luggage on a flight. The bigger, more capable scissors easily trumping the small scissors and screwdriver combination on the smaller S Alox and Jet Setter. Do though check your own local flying rules though, and be aware they may differ between your departure airport and your return one. So for me, the new Companion X Alox will now be my swap out tool, replacing a bladed Victorinox in my travel essentials kit when I fly. And the Companion not so slim Alox will be my swap out tool in my EDC or everyday carry for when I go to places where knife carry is prohibited. So in summary, we now finally have something new from Victorinox. Practical additions to the range that make sense and enhance our carry options with the usual superb quality and great value we've come to expect. I do though believe the best is yet to come. More this year, which I suspect will again be more evolution than revolution, and then the promise of something innovative and game-changing in 2026. Please let me know in the comments what you think about these new additions. Is it what you were expecting? And what are you hoping for from Victorinox in the future? I'd be really interested to know, and I'm sure Victorinox will be watching. And if you've not seen my original video questioning the direction of Victorinox, I'll put that here. And the subsequent visit to Victorinox in Switzerland, which I will put here. There we have it. I hope that's been useful. Thanks as always for watching, and I hope you can join me in the next one.